Hello, welcome to Hook Legends, and thanks for watching today's episode. Now, today I want to do something a little bit different. I hope to be able to get out here in a few minutes or an hour or so and get some fishing in, but unfortunately, it's that time of the year when the summer storms are rolling in, and we already had some rain here probably within the past, hour and a half. So, don't know if I'm going to get out there fishing or not, but, I wanted to take this opportunity to bring you some good information. Before I get into the details, though, as always, I want to say thanks to all of our subscribers. I appreciate your support. And if you like these tips, the entertainment, or the videos, guys, please do me a favor right now. Please reach up, click subscribe, and like. And make sure you click the notification bell so you'll be notified when future videos are released. Now, today what I want to do is I want to show you how to put together what I call my simple summer setup. Guys, it's hot, it's muggy. I try to I try to downsize a lot, the bait, but also try to downsize my equipment, guys. I don't want to sling around heavy equipment. I want to do as little movement as possible, and I want to be able to fish as easy as possible. So I want to show you a basic setup today that you've seen me fishing with if you've been watching the videos, but it's a single jig rig, and it's on an 8-foot ACC crappie sticks. But sometimes I think at least I just speak for myself, sometimes I think that some of the experienced fishermen, we tend to forget some of the basics. We tend to not talk about some of the basics. We jump right in and we say, hey, you got to do this and you got to do that, and we overlook some of the basics. First of all, you have to have a properly set up rod and reel. So today's video is going to be somewhat of an entry-level video, but still might be able to pick up some tips. But what I want to do is I want to go in and I want to take a reel, I want to spool it with line, and I want to take that reel and put it on a rod, and I want to do a basic loop knot on it, guys. I just want to show you from, if you walk into Walmart and you pick up a reel, or Bass Pro Shops, and you get home, you want to know what to do with it. I hope this video will be able to provide you with some answers. So I want to go ahead and let's acknowledge our sponsors, ACC Crappie Sticks, and now we're going to take a brief break, and we're going to come right back and jump right into the detail. Okay, so let's jump right into it on how to set this up. Step number one, make sure you don't miss this step. Make sure when you work on your reel and you're getting ready to spool it up with line, if you use a spinning reel, I'm using a spinning reel today, guys. So the step number one, make sure you open the bail. That's step number one. And you have to constantly check it too, guys, because I can't tell you the number of times even I have came out and got ready to spool a rod and reel and spool a reel, and I forgot to open the bail, or when I wasn't paying attention, the handle turned and it closed it. Got my line on here, ran it through the eyes on the rod, put my bait on it, and realized that it was on the outside of that bail. So step number one, make sure that bail is open, okay? Step number two, take your line. I hope this is picking up. I hope it's in focus. But let me make sure I get a little bit back here. I'm going to take this line and I'm just going to put it, I have the bail open, and I'm going to put it in there around that spool, okay? I have it around the spool. So once it's around the spool, I'm holding the line that's, and by the way, I'm using 6-pound test ACC crappie sticks. The ACC copolymer fishing line, guys, has really impressed me. It has some great qualities. It doesn't spring off the spool and land down on your toes like a slinky like some lines do. I mean, this is some great fishing line, so I'm really sold on it. Now, go ahead and we're going to take the line. Okay, so step number one, make sure that bail is open, guys. Make sure it's open. And then I'm going to take 3 of my fingers and I'm going to make a loop here with this line. All right, so I have the line coming through the left hand going over the top of that spool, and it's coming up under it on the other side, and I'm just making a loop here with my fingers, a complete loop, and then I'm going to just basically feed that line through here, guys. Now this is gonna take some practice with your finger coordination, but I like to get about 3 or 4 good loops through the inside circle and bring it back out across the top. Doesn't hurt if you do it 5 or 6 times, Okay, so then we're going to basically pull and tighten up. Tighten up. We're going to tighten that. You're going to cinch it down. Now I'm going to go ahead, before I pull it all the way down and tighten it on the reel, I want to go ahead and clip off a little bit of that line. Okay, clip it off. And then it helps if you wet this, guys. Luckily, I got a little bit of rainwater sitting right here from the rain that just passed by. Put a little moisture on it and cinch that line, cinch it right down. Okay, you see that? Hope this is coming through clearly. Cinch it right down. So this is nice and snug there. So now the next thing we need to do, just go ahead and flip this bell, and we're ready to go ahead and fill this guy up. We're ready to go ahead and fill it up. So I put that back in there snug, and now it's just a matter of winding this on. So let me go ahead and move the camera for just a second. Okay, so here's what the Go Next tool looks like. Once again, I'm putting 6-pound test line on here, so I'm going to go ahead now, guys. It's pretty straightforward. We're just going to come in here and put the line on. I'm just going to wind it on here. Like I said, once again, this is a great product. You can I picked this up off of Amazon. I believe Pissy Fun, I think is the name of it, and how you pronounce. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But just go out there if you're going to be spooling up a lot of reels and you're going to be doing it all alone. You can find out that, I mean, this is a very helpful tool for doing so. I'll loosen my tension up here a little bit. Okay. Okay. You don't want to overfill it. So now this particular reel, guys, has a it's kind of has a, if you look, you can see the rim there on the inside. I hope you can see that. But that black area, you want to have your line up to that and not up to the gold part. Otherwise, it's going to be over. It's going to be too full, and when you toss it out, you're going to have a disaster on your hand. It's going to bird nest on you. Now, something happened to this reel a while back. I think I'm missing some parts. It's loading more on the back side of this spool than the front, but that was my fault. I just got to find a piece to go back in there so it'll go on there smoothly. So now we have the reel loaded up. Okay, so now we have the reel loaded up. The next thing I want to do now is go ahead and I'm going to attach it to the rod. We're going to move on how to tie a loop knot and put the jig back on it. So let's move on to the next step. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to take this, and this screws on just like it will go on a rod. I'm going to go ahead and take it off and put it on my trusty summertime. This is an ACC Crappie Sticks GS08M. You've seen me, if you've been watching the videos, you know I've been actually just nailing fish this summer on it, and I'll continue to use this till the summer. Once the weather cools down, maybe in the fall or the winter, when the fish start back roaming around and moving real fast, I'll go back to the 16-footer or the 13-foot crossover. So let's go ahead and put this reel on here. Just going to attach it now. Attach it to the reel. Attach the reel seat to the rod. Okay, now once we attach the reel seat to the rod, the next thing we want to do is open that bell. Okay, now I've attached the reel seat to the rod. Now I'm just going to find the end of this line and I'm going to start threading it through these guides. And guys, I can't tell you enough how important it is to double check it. I can't tell you the number of times I've fixed my rods up in poor light conditions, just knew I had through every eye on here, and start watching a video at the same time you guys are watching the video, when I noticed that I missed one. I've had some of you say, hey, you didn't put the line through the other eye. Well, double check it. You make sure you're in a well lit area, because it is so easy. And maybe, I don't know, maybe it's an age thing with my eyesight, but just make sure you double check before you go through the trouble of putting your jig on here. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and start running this up through the guides. Now I always pull off enough line so I can make it through all the way up there to the end and have enough to hang back down to the reel. I even do the same thing on my 16 footer. So I'm just going to go ahead and start threading it through the eyes. Now, one of the things I like about this particular model rod, they have the small eyes on it, which is extremely smooth and helpful for casting. Running out of room here, guy. Another thing I like about these smaller, lighter rods for summertime, you know, we have about, I think about 40% of our fishermen on the channel are women. That's right. Shout out to you ladies. So, you know, I know you don't want to be out there with a long, heavy rod. So this 8-footer is definitely something you can manage, and it's not going to wear you down. Got my line hung in the back of the boat here. Let me get it loose. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting pretty close here to the final step. Okay, before I tie that jig on, I want to talk to you a little bit about how I put the line on the reel. Now, you know, on a spinning reel, the line is really the best method for putting it on is the line needs to come off of the spool in the same direction it goes on to the reel. Now, I like using that little tool that I just used because I can do it by myself and I can do it real fast. Now, my plan was actually, I was going to show you something that I have to put in another video on how to get that twist out of your line. It uses a little piece of lead. I may already have a video out there posted previously on using that particular method, but I looked around and I don't have it in this boat, or I can't find it. So I don't know what happened to it. So what I'm going to use, there's 2 or 3 methods for getting that twist out of your line. So, because if that line's twisted, you cast it out, you're going to get a big bird's nest. It's going to be in a big wad. So I'm going to go out here in the water and I'm going to show you kind of a cumbersome method, but it gets 100% of the line twist out. So we're going to move forward and do that. I also want to say, because after I loaded that line on there, I noticed the back part of the spool had more line than the front part of the spool. I got my reels mixed up, and I had one that has a slight defect in it. It's missing some internal components. Sooner or later, if you're fishing, guys, that line's going to get behind the spool and get up in there. Make sure when you take the spool off to correct the line, make sure that you put all the pieces back in. If you miss one of those little thin washers, you're going to have some problems. I'm assuming that's what happened. So what I did is I went and got another reel, put the line on that, okay? But just wanted to make sure that you knew that. So I have another reel on here. I already put the line on it. I'm going to get out here now, and I'm going to show you how to remove the twist from your line, and then show you how to tie that knot. So let's go ahead and get out on the lake. Hopefully the weather will hold up long enough for me to untwist the line and maybe even catch a couple of fish. So let's head out. Okay, so what I'm going to do now to get the line twist out of my line is nothing complicated, clean and simple. I'm going to take this line, if I can see it and find it. I'm just going to take the end of this line and I'm going to feed it off. I'm just going to feed it off behind the boat. I have the boat trolling, doesn't matter what speed, but this will do a fantastic job of getting the line twist out. So go ahead and use my navigation pointer to a mark where I want it to go. Boat's going to go in a certain direction, and I'm just going to sit here and put it in the water. I'm going to open this spool. And you can let it, you can determine how far out you want it to go, 40, 50 feet. The way I use this is I'm just pitching. I'm never pitching anymore at max 30 feet, so, but really doesn't matter, If you got time, especially when you're out late, you're going to take a break, have some refreshments, just sit there. And as you can see, not sure if the camera's picking this up, but it's pretty much putting the line off all by itself. All I have to do is stand here and hold it. Depending on whether you're using braid, monofilament, this is a copolymer by ACC. You see, the only thing I'm doing is I'm just sitting here. See if I can get you a view of it. See how that line is just basically free spooling off of there all by itself just by moving along. Now my spool isn't filled up far enough for this would even be even easier, but running a little long line got to put me another order. So every now and then you might need to jerk it to help it come off of there, especially once you get down low to the bottom of the spool. So I think that's enough for me, guys. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to engage, close the bell so it engages that line, and I'm going to drag it, snatch it every now and then, and this is going to remove 100%. Pretty high accuracy on this, you know. I like to normally I have a weight with a swivel in the end, and I throw it out and I kind of jig it back, drag it across the bottom, let it sit, you know. But this method here does a fantastic job of getting all the line twist out. And then just wind it in. And the resistance in the water is going to help that line go back on the spool good and snug. Now look at there. Now it's ready for a jig. All right, now I want to show you how to put the jig on here, that final step. Then we might see if we can catch some fish for the ring sets in. So basically, I like a 1/32 ounce in the summertime. Going to use a 1/32. That 1/32 gives it a nice slow fall that seems to be just perfect. So I don't know, I maybe bring out about 10 inches of line, double it, pull them down together, and then go 1, 2, and if you can, get 3 of them in there. Pull a little further. 1, 2, 3. Don't do them too tight around your finger or you won't be able to get it off, you know. So and then go ahead and pull it through. Then if you go ahead and pinch right in the middle of that loop, guys, pinch right in the middle. Grab the double end and start pulling it through. You can actually count those loops and feel them coming through your hand. Sink them down, cinch them down, and let me get my clippers, get my scissors here and cut off this end. Now, and there you go. Your simple summer setup is ready to catch some fish. Tell you what, let's go ahead and see if we can maybe catch 1 or 2 before the rain sets in. Alright guys, I managed to get out. The rain held up. Matter of fact, the sun popped out. I went out and made it out there to the middle of the lake. Sorry I didn't get you any video footage, guys. Wind was blowing one way, camera pointed directly into the sun. But I mean, I went out there and managed to nail a couple of slabs, you know, in the little time that I had, guys. So once again, this is a great rod setup that I showed you today, and it's lightweight. It's something, ladies, you can use. It's lightweight, doesn't take a lot of effort. Now in an upcoming video, I'm going to show you guys how to pitch that jig out with pinpoint accuracy. So once again, if you like these videos and tips and entertainment, do me a favor, please reach up, click subscribe and like. Make sure you click the notification bell so you'll be alerted when future videos are released. Mom's gonna have a good time eating these. See you next time. Thanks for watching Hook Legends.